Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. Can you just hold a minute? I'm getting a little feedback. I don't know why. Let me try again. Yes, excuse me for a second. Okay. President of the Caribbean Alliance of National Psychological Associations, Dr. Khatija Khan, and executive members, President of the Barbados Society of Psychology, Dr. Mia Jules, and members of the executive, camper members of our sister associations joining us online from across the Caribbean, representative from the Office of the Campus Registrar at the Cave Hill campus, Mrs. Nicole Sue, ministerial representatives and those from the private sector, chairs and members of the conference organizing committee, members of the media, colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This morning, I welcome you all, and I'm glad that you're joining us to hear a little bit about CRCP. I would like to hand over at the moment to our past president, Mr. Ronald Pope.
Good morning. Protocols having been established, welcome. My name is Mr. Ronald Pope. I'm the past president of the Barbados Society of Psychology. Today marks the 18th annual Psychology Day at the United Nations, which focuses on psychological contributions to building global resilience. I am therefore pleased that the theme for this 6th Caribbean Regional Conference of Psychology is Building Mental Health Resilience, Empowering Our Communities. It represents the culmination of vision, persistence, and the unwavering belief in the transformative power of psychology to shape lives, communities, and nations. The Barbados Society of Psychology, though a modest body in terms of numbers, has proven itself mighty in this mission. This gathering is, in many ways, groundbreaking for the BSP, for Barbados, and for the Caribbean. It signals our collective recognition that the time has come for Caribbean voices in psychology to take center stage, not as echoes, imported frameworks, but as architects of our contextual grounding models of mental health, education, and development. To the members of the BSP, let me take a moment to acknowledge the courage it takes to dream big in small spaces. You have held the vision and nurtured it with integrity and heart. This pre-launch is your victory. It is also a call to all of us to support, to contribute, and to walk boldly into this new chapter together. Let us approach CRCP 2025 not just as participants, but as co-creators of a future in which Caribbean psychology is not only represented, but respected, researched, and resourced. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ronald Pope, past president of the BSP, for those welcoming remarks. I would now like to welcome the Reverend Dr. Marcus Lashley to pray for us. Thank you.
Thank you, and good morning, all. The note to me said prayer or reflection. I'm going to do both. I think sometimes we do not appreciate how much we contribute as mental health professionals to our societies. We measure sometimes the number of persons who've committed suicide or the number of families that are disintegrating through divorce, etc. But we will never know the number of lives that are saved and the number of homes that are remaining intact because of our intervention. And so we give God thanks. Let us pray. Father, with great humility, we come to you at the beginning of this day. We thank you for all that you've been able to do in and through us as mental health professionals in this region. And now we commit our upcoming conference into your hands, asking that you will work your mighty power in and among us, that you will touch even more lives as we draw closer to each other as professionals. And so now, Lord, go before us in all our doings with your most gracious favor, and further us with your continual help, that in all our works, begun, continued, and ended in you, we may glorify your holy name, and finally, by your mercy, obtain everlasting life. Through Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you very much. We're moving on swiftly to a welcome from our president at the Caribbean Alliance of National Psychological Associations, Dr. Khatija Khan. This is a recording, so just bear with us for a minute, please.
Greetings on behalf of the Caribbean Alliance of National Psychological Associations. I'm Dr. Khatija Khan, President of CAMPA, and I'm delighted to tell you more about CAMPA's flagship biennial event, the Caribbean Regional Conference of Psychology. This year, it's being held in beautiful Barbados from June 9 to 13 and being held in partnership with the Barbados Society of Psychologists. The CRCP is the biggest psychology conference in the region, and it routinely attracts attendees from across the Caribbean and globally. This sixth conference follows a tradition of previous successful conferences held in St. Croix in 2021, Jamaica in 2018, Haiti in 2016, Suriname in 2014, and in 2011 we had our inaugural conference in the Bahamas. As we prepare for the CRCP in Barbados, I'm reminded of the vital role that psychological science and psychologists play in fostering sustainable development in societies like ours. And conferences like these present a unique opportunity to bridge academic research and engagement with professionals and the public to transmit knowledge that can inform policy and practice to shape communities. This year, the conference brings together scholars, researchers, professionals, and students for fertile discussion and exchange around an important theme: building mental health resiliencies, empowering our communities. And in addition to this scholarly exchange, attendees will also have the chance to enjoy the vast and rich culture of Barbados. From the food, the music, the natural and historical sites, to the people, the beaches, and the vibe. Events like these are not possible without the support of all our stakeholders and partners. To the Barbados government and various ministries, regional and international organizations, non-governmental and corporate sector partners and sponsors, we say thank you. Thank you for making this conference possible, and we urge you to continue to support the conference. As the regional leader of Caribbean psychology, CAMPA remains steadfast in our mission to strengthen Caribbean psychology and the role and contribution of psychological science. As we strive to widen and deepen our impact, we will continue to collaborate, innovate, and lead efforts to build capacity, enhance the profession, and expand its application in service of our people, our societies, and our countries. We look forward to seeing you in Barbados in June at the CRCP.
Thank you to our president of CAMPA. We're now going to move on to giving you an overview of the conference. Dr. Mia Jules, the current president of the Barbados Society of Psychology. I invite you. Thank you.
Good morning, all online and here in this room. It's a pleasure to have you all here with us. So let's get started with our conference overview. So the question is, why CRCP 2025? Why should we all get involved in this conference? In the Caribbean, there's a need for evidence-based mental health approaches in order to tackle many of the psychosocial challenges facing the region. For example, especially since the COVID-19 pandemic, there's been an uptick in mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, and so on, leading, in some instances, to concerning rates of suicide. And this is just an example of some of the psychosocial issues that the region is facing. Mental health practitioners, such as psychologists, psychiatrists, counselors, life coaches, need interventions that are proven to be effective in our own context. And this is where research comes into play. The data that we collect from our people can shape, tailor, as well as develop the best approaches for our people. That is, these key stakeholders, the children, families, and the communities that we serve. So at this conference, we are pleased to invite mental health professionals, academics, other healthcare providers, such as doctors, medical doctors, nurses, physiotherapists, to name a few, educators, the corporate sector, as well as the general public. As it pertains to the venue for the conference, it will be taking place at the Accra Beach Hotel and Spa. And it's at this venue that the individuals registered would be exposed to cutting-edge research by leading experts in Caribbean psychology and mental health around 6 key themes. The first being Caribbean psychology, policy, and advocacy. The second one, trauma and healing. The third, innovative practices and research. Fourth, building resilient communities. The fifth, cultural perspectives on mental health. And finally, vulnerabilities in small island states, especially around climate threats and socioeconomic context. I would also like to share with you that our keynote speakers are leading experts that will provide important interdisciplinary insights relevant to mental health and well-being. Our very own Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, as well as Dr. Ishtar Gavaya, 2 heavyweights in the academic arena. In addition to the keynotes, as well as the cutting-edge research, we have workshops to strengthen human resource infrastructure in mental health. We have 4 workshops, the first being the Psychologist Resilience Lab, Mastering Self-Care Collaboration and ACT Modalities by Ariane Byron. Another workshop we have, Strengthening Mental Health Service Delivery through Competency-Based Training by Ruta Rangel and her colleague. The third, our very own Jomo Phillips, Tangoing with Couples, an emotionally focused therapy primer for Caribbean therapists. And finally, because research is so key and we want to foster that amongst the those coming up, especially our early career researchers, the 4th workshop, Writers Bootcamp, Tools for Preparing Your Work for Publication by Kathy Burlew and her team. It should be noted that these experts in the area will be providing their expertise in order to help individuals who come to these workshops learn about these key areas. And I should also note that these workshops are open to the public. You do not have to register for the entire conference to be eligible to attend these pre-conference workshops. And they're now available online at wearecampa.com, and you would be able to start the registration process if you're interested. We also have a community forum on mental health. And again, it's not just about the academics and the research and the practitioners, but we want to engage in knowledge exchange and transfer, getting into the wider community. So we truly are thankful to the St. Patrick's Roman Catholic Cathedral and the priests there for allowing us to use that venue for our community forum. And this is a venue that we have found in past years to be quite helpful because it's in a central location in the heart of Bridgetown. And the picture below, you can see that this was a previous panel discussion that we had that we would have put on last year. For this community forum, again, we are bringing in heavy hitters. We have Dr. Elika Matthews from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Mr. Krishnan Hurdle from Montserrat, Ms. Anne-Marie Johnson of Trinidad and Tobago, all psychologists, all experts in the field in order to engage with the public. And finally, networking opportunities. And all smiles here, so you can see the type of conference that we hold. These networking activities are to facilitate collaboration, knowledge exchange, and partnerships among our attendees. We have a welcome cocktail reception as well as a cultural night and dinner for individuals coming in to attend the conference. Now, you've been seeing a lot of imagery concerning CRCP 2025, and I want to highlight that this artwork was created by Mr. Kadri Walcott, a graphic artist, as well as a counselor at the Barbados Youth Advanced Corps. I would like to add that our psychology is the bedrock of our very existence. And this is key, as you can see here in the imagery, by the human face. The science of psychology generates knowledge about the nature and development of human thoughts, emotions, and behaviors at both individual and societal levels. From this bedrock emerges baobab trees. This tree is a symbol of life and positivity and serves as a metaphor for resiliency. It's a tree often found across many Caribbean countries. That is, the indomitable spirit of Caribbean people is represented by this tree. Our ability to hold fast and strong across generations, and our ability to overcome the many challenges that we face in the region. It should also be noted that the silhouettes of the people from all walks of life are also part of the imagery. And this is important because as they're holding hands, they not only demonstrate a sense of community, but also the role that we play in preserving our societies. And finally, if you look at the logo for CRCP 2025, as well as the trees, you'll see that the color schemes are pairing nicely. This is because the bright colors in each tree symbolize the fusion of the Caribbean's rich cultures and heritages. So at this time, I would now end my remarks, and we'll move on to the next segment. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jules. Okay. Building mental health resiliencies, empowering our communities. We are not island to ourselves, we are part of communities, and today we have two esteemed guests, two community leaders that we are all familiar with, I'm sure. I'm going to introduce one at a time and allow them to speak and share with us. First of all, we have Pauline Moore. Mrs. Pauline Moore is a parent and student advocate and has been the passionate, indefatigable coordinator and spokesperson for the group of concerned parents of Barbados and the Caribbean Coalition for Exam Redress since 2020. A regional parent rights and education activist, she champions fairness and accountability in education and the rights of parents and students to be integral partners in child-related matters, nationally and throughout CARICOM. Possessed of undergraduate and master degrees in business from the University of the West Indies and Durham University, respectively, with an international business background in business development, Paula Ann draws on her expertise in corporate governance, communications, and stakeholder engagement to provide solution-based analysis on children's issues. Empathy and the pursuit of justice drive her mission to reform education systems and ensure parental and children perspectives are heard, thus optimizing healthier futures for our children. Can we please welcome Mrs. Pauline Moore to the podium?
Thank you for that introduction. Good morning to you all. First, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the regional body of psychologists and the local organization for recognizing the value of my advocacy within the community and also giving the parental perspective a voice. Part of the reason why I do what I do is that emanating out of an unfortunate crisis in education in 2020, I recognize that oftentimes certain issues where you would expect that you would hear from parents and that parents be invited to have a seat at the table, that opportunity far too often was absent. So, and obviously you cannot foster the best in a child without having a parent as an integral part of that collaborative effort. So I have observed that there was a need, an unmet need. I have had a wealth of positive responses to what I have done in the nature of advocacy on behalf of parents and our children within the region and nationally. And God willing, I will continue to do what I've been doing to the best of my ability. So again, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. I will try to keep my remarks brief. I know I have been given a limited opportunity. So first, there are things that we know, but sometimes we don't recognize the extent to which parents are an integral part of developing our children. And as I did my research, and I use that word very gingerly because I know research has a very specific scientific meaning, but as I reviewed in preparation for this, I came across a scholarly paper which shocked me. It's authored by Christina Nunez, and it speaks to the mental health and well-being in children. And the first sentence, mental disorders are the greatest cause of the burden of disease in the world, which I found shocking. And the author goes on to say, in fact, most of the disease burdens affecting adults has its onset during childhood and adolescence. There is a growing concern about the mental health and well-being of children. It is well established in existing literature that children and young people who experience positive support from parents and teachers develop psychological resilience. And I thought this paper just tied in brilliantly with the objective of the upcoming conference. So therefore, it's quite clear the crucial role that parents hold in ensuring the mental well-being of children. And those key roles, which although we may know in our gut, but it's important to articulate and break them down, the emotional support that we provide to children are crucial, offering a safe space within which children feel valued and heard. And I touch on heard because excuse me, oftentimes, partially because of our culture and traditions and norms, we have the saying, children should be seen and not heard. And although that approach is changing for many children, and I find myself guilty, I am human as well, the children do complain excuse me, that they're not heard to the extent that they would like to be heard. And oftentimes, children may seek our help, seek our guidance, but for whatever reason, we don't recognize what they're trying to say. And then sometimes they may act out in behaviors that are a cry for help, but they may be negative behaviors. Also, we as parents, we also serve to model what might be good coping mechanisms to the best of our ability. Excuse me. We also, it's important that we provide that consistency and guidance and structure that children may need to foster optimal responses to challenges in their lives. And all of this leads to, at the end of the day, we as parents, we're fostering life skills. So the family unit plays a crucial role in providing a layer to help children, to protect children, but also give them coping mechanisms to guide them as they address external factors that they may come into that are challenges. But oftentimes, they are mitigating issues that prevent us from doing as much as we can as parents. And most parents, the vast majority, we try our best with our children. But oftentimes, we just don't have the knowledge, the resources. We don't know where to go to when we need help. Obviously, socioeconomic factors are a huge issue relating to that. So this forum will play an important role in giving parents the opportunity. So thank you for promoting this. I also want to touch on COVID. I'm glad that you mentioned COVID, the impact of COVID on our children. As part of what I did in advocacy, I was fortunate enough, along with Marianne Regman of the BSTU, the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Teachers, Psychologists. We had fora with children throughout CARICOM that helped to give them, it was specifically mental health support. And the cries for help that those children gave, it will stay with me forever. And oftentimes what they complained about is that their parents, with the best way of the world, the best purposes in the world, they were chastising them for their suboptimal performance, even though largely it was for situations outside of their control. So again, it speaks to the importance of parents listening to our children as best as we can. Also, the role of marijuana, I just want to touch quickly on that. It has become quite prevalent in our society. And both within the home, children using it themselves, secondhand smoke, and I don't think it is widely promulgated enough, the specific deleterious effect that marijuana has on the developing brain, and how that can then impact their mental health, their behaviors, and so on and so forth. So, and I just say between marijuana and COVID, the reports that teachers and parents might have been giving of late of increase in discipline, violence in the school and in the home, even all of this horrific gun and other violent crime, that may have its origin in the legacy of COVID and isolation and the destruction of their education outcomes that has happened. So with that, I could go on forever. I'm getting the wrap up, and so I will wrap up. Just to say one last thing, the structure of the conference sounds excellent. I would relish the opportunity for a specific opportunity again for us to drill down more in the parental perspective, because obviously psychologists are servicing parents, students, others in the community. It's excellent that you can actually hear from us in a more structured way. So with that, I'll bid you adieu. Again, thank you so much for this tremendous opportunity. I'm excited by this conference, and I look forward to working collaboratively as we try to make our children the best that they can be and have them thrive and not survive, just survive. So thank you again.
Thank you, Mrs. Paula Ann Moore, for bringing the parental perspective to us as we dig our heels into planning this conference. We really appreciate it, and highlighting some of those key issues that are affecting our children throughout the Caribbean. I would now like to welcome Mr. Sean Clark. Mr. Sean Clark, I'm sure, is familiar to many of us. He's a devoted Barbadian youth advocate and CEO of Supreme Counseling for Personal Development. Driven by a deep passion for empowering at-risk youth, he champions mental health, mentorship, and crime prevention across Barbados. His tireless advocacy and transformative programs continue to shape brighter futures for the island's young people. Welcome.
A blessed good morning to each and every one of you. Good morning. Distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and all the passionate hearts gathered here today, both in person and online, welcome. But not just welcome to Barbados or to the pre-launch, but welcome to a moment in history where we decide what kind of Caribbean we are going to leave behind for our children. I am deeply honored by the Barbados Society of Psychologists for giving me the privilege to speak on a subject that is not just timely, but urgent, critical, life or death important. The importance of fostering mental health amongst youth in our communities and the non-negotiable role of building their psychological resilience. I stand before you today not just as an advocate for mental health, not just as the founder of Supreme Counseling for Personal Development, but as a witness to the silent cries of young people in Bridgetown, but also in Castries, St. Lucia, a witness to the struggles of the teens in Spikestown, but also in Spanish Town, Jamaica, to the pain of the youth in Oistins, but also in Port of Spain, Trinidad, and Georgetown, Guyana. Too many of our children across the Caribbean are carrying invisible wounds, trauma, anxiety, depression. These are not isolated to one island. They ripple across our region, from Barbados to Dominica, from Antigua to Grenada. Behind every school uniform, whether it is at Princess Margaret in Barbados, Queen's College in Guyana, or St. Mary's College in Trinidad, there are young minds battling storms we cannot see. These are not just statistics, my friends. These are our children. The boys on the block in Laventille, the girl battling silent depression in Kingston, the young man on the edge in the Bahamas, ready to give up because he feels there is no way out. Mental health, my friends, is not a luxury for Caribbean youth. It is a lifeline. A child's mind burdened with trauma is as dangerous as a body starved of food. Just as we will never allow a child to starve, we must not allow their minds to suffer in silence. We must act, and we must act now. Because while we wait, while we debate and delay, another young life is lost to suicide, to crime, to despair. And here is the naked truth. Our prisons across the Caribbean, from Dawes in Barbados to Golden Grove in Trinidad, are filled with young men and women who were failed long before they committed a crime. They were failed when we overlooked their mental health. They were failed when we told them to man up instead of asking them, what happened to you? They were failed when we focused on punishment over prevention. So today, I will not offer polite words. I am here to challenge each and every one of you as you prepare for your conference. I am here to demand more of you when you meet in June. We cannot leave the conference with just ideas and intentions. We must leave with a plan, a commitment, because psychological resilience, the ability to bounce back from hardship, to stand tall in the face of adversity, is not something that happens by chance. It is built. It is built in schools that value emotional well-being as much as academic success. It is built in families that teach coping skills and emotional literacy. It is built in communities from Bailan to Demerara, from St. Anne's to Saphir, that wrap around the youth with support, care, and opportunity. Now, when you meet in June, my friends, here is my call of action. Push for mandatory mental health programs in every school across the Caribbean. Not just a single workshop, but embedded, sustained, life-saving programs. Programs, for example, forgive me, like the Supreme Self-Development and Awareness Program here in Barbados, should be a regional model. Demand our ministries of health and education to invest more in our school counselors and social workers. One counselor per 1,000 students is not enough. We need mental health professionals in every school, in every parish, in every island. 3, create safe space for youth outside of schools. Community centers, churches, youth hubs, places where young people can gather, be heard, and learn skills for resilience. Imagine the impact of a regional network of youth resilient hubs, from Kingston to Castries, from Port of Spain to places in Guyana. Remove the stigma from mental health conversations. Let us speak about mental health in our churches, in our ram shops, and on our radio stations. If we can talk cricket, carnival, and calypso, we can talk about mental health. Support every intervention program. Again, like the supreme alternative to school suspension. Don't just suspend a child, support them. Offer them counseling, skills training, and a second chance. Ladies and gentlemen, like my colleague have seen the light, the wrap-up light. So every young life lost to suicide across our Caribbean is a life that could have been saved. Every young person behind prison walls could have been a leader, a builder, a healer, but there is hope. There is time. There's still a chance to change the story. When we meet, let us fight for the Caribbean. Let us fight for Caribbean young people. Let us leave here. Let us leave your conference in June, not just with handshakes and good intentions, but with commitments, with timelines, with action plans. I am obliged.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sean Clark. Thank you for taking us through the Caribbean so beautifully and making us recognize that this is a Caribbean-wide problem or problems that we have to address, and we're coming together to work towards finding solutions. Thank you again. Thank you, Mrs. Paula Ann Moore as well. I'm now going to introduce our co-chair of the local organizing committee, Ms. Amanda Kelman. Okay.
All right, good morning again, everyone. A warm welcome to our pre-launch event for the Caribbean Regional Conference of Psychology 2025. It is exciting to see so many of you here today, sharing in our anticipation for what promises to be another successful conference in our region. Today, I want to take a moment to shine a spotlight on our invaluable contributors, the organizations and individuals who have stepped forward with belief and generosity to help make CRCP 2025 a reality. Even at this stage, their commitment is already making a tangible difference. Their early support has provided the vital momentum that we have needed to lay a strong foundation for a successful conference. They have not only offered financial contributions, but have also lent their expertise, resources, and enthusiasm to our planning and our vision. CRCP is made possible through strategic partnerships and generous contributions from the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc., our valued destination and hospitality partner, the Caribbean Development Bank, supporting regional development and mental wellness initiatives, and to date, BTMI and CDB are enabling others in the region to participate in the conference. We also have the contribution of Massey, contributing to social responsibility and community well-being across the Caribbean, the University of the West Indies Cave Hill Campus, Barbados, supporting cutting-edge research in mental health and well-being, and the use of the 3Ws Pavilion here this morning, UETV for broadcasting high-impact mental health videos for education and community empowerment, New Tech Signage Experts for providing branding expertise for CRCP 2025, the St. Patrick's Roman Catholic Cathedral, the venue for our upcoming Community Mental Health Symposium, Hotel Foods, keeping our volunteers and the public refreshed at our upcoming community events, NDJ Multimedia and Productions for providing streaming services, and K&L Floral and Event Planning Services, beautifying our head table here this morning, one flower at a time. Your contributions, whether in kind or financial, have added significant value to the conference. So as we move closer to June 2025, we look forward to strengthening these relationships and forging new ones. We're looking for more sponsors to enhance the overall experience of the conference and have a greater reach within the community. The success of CRCP 2025 will be a shared success, a direct result of this collaboration and generous support that we are seeing here today. We are deeply grateful to those who have said yes to mental health in the Caribbean. This partnership empowers our movement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amanda, for sharing those who have come on board already to assist us with this drive towards the conference. I would now like to introduce Dr. June Cadell, who is our co-chair for the LOC Fundraising Committee, and she is going to share with you some information. Go on.
Thank you, Professor Maynard. Good morning, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be here with you as we officially begin our journey towards the 6th Caribbean Regional Conference of Psychology, known as CRCP 2025. Sounds good, doesn't it? As fundraising chair, I have the honor and the distinct responsibility of helping to secure the support needed to bring this vision to life. CRCP 2025 will bring together psychologists, educators, policymakers, and community workers. But just as importantly, it will make space for young people, activists, and everyday citizens who are doing the quiet, necessary work of building stronger, more resilient communities. But to do this well, we do need your help. We are calling on businesses, foundations, and individuals to partner with us in meaningful ways. Your sponsorship will help us find student scholarships, support local initiatives, and ensure that this event is accessible, inclusive, and reflective of the vibrant Caribbean we're so proud of. You can support our efforts by sponsoring employees to attend the workshops, contributing to key elements such as coffee breaks, or making a monetary donation to help offset overall costs. Every contribution, no matter how small, no matter the size, makes a meaningful impact on and brings us closer to delivering a conference that is accessible, engaging, and transformative for all. So, if you're in a position to support, financially or by just opening a few doors, please connect with us. Connect with me or a member of the local organizing committee. We can be contacted at CRCP 2025 Barbados@gmail.com. CRCP 2025 Barbados@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cadell. Okay, thank you for being so patient with us this morning. And we tried as hard as we can to stick to time, so we're now going to wrap up. So good morning again, everyone. I don't think I introduced myself at the beginning. My name is Donna Maria Maynard. I want to start by giving our guests a big applaud for their contribution. Thank you again. Thank you for joining us this morning. As we come to the close of this morning's gathering, I want to thank each of you for being here with us at the beginning of something powerful and something necessary. CRCP 2025, as I'm sure you've realized, is more than a conference. It is a call to action. A call for us, psychologists, educators, mental health practitioners, policymakers, and every concerned citizen to come together and reimagine what health and healing can look like for the Caribbean. We are uniquely positioned to help reframe the narrative around mental and behavioral health. We already have something close to 180 people joining us from across the Caribbean, and we're looking forward to welcoming you all here as we work together in the best interest of all of our Caribbean people. But we must begin by acknowledging the realities, the silence that still surrounds mental illness in many of our communities, the gaps in services, the deep impact of intergenerational trauma, and the cultural nuances that make our work both challenging and deeply necessary. We cannot afford to keep treating the mind as if it is somehow separate from the body, from the community, from the environment, or from history. Let us make CRCP 2025 a catalyst for transformation, for building bridges across islands and disciplines, for deepening our understanding of what it means to be well, whole, and thriving as Caribbean people. CRCP 2025 is a space where we will explore, where science meets story, where theory meets lived experience, and while we are proud of the work we've done so far in planning this event, the truth is we need more hands, more hearts, more partners who understand the urgency of what we're doing. To those who are already supporting us, we thank you deeply. To those who are considering it, whether as sponsors, collaborators, or advocates, we invite you to come on board. This is not just a sponsorship opportunity, it's a contribution to a healthier Caribbean, one where our people are seen, heard, and supported. So let us continue this work together, let us break the stigma, let us strengthen the systems, and most importantly, let us remind ourselves and each other that healing is possible when we make space for it. Thank you, and let's keep moving forward together. I thank you all again for joining us this morning.